Listen to me. If you're over 60 right now and you spent your whole life working 40 years, 50 years, building something, saving something, and you're sitting on cash in the bank in your retirement account, thinking it's safe, you need to hear this because something is happening, something most people don't want to talk about. The government doesn't want to talk about it. The banks don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. The money you save, the dollars sitting in your account, they're worth less today than they were last year, and they're going to be worth even less next year. That's not a prediction, that's math. And after 40 years of work, after 40 years of sacrifice, after you finally earned the right to rest, the last thing you need is to watch your retirement get eaten away by something you didn't even see coming. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. That's your decision. That's your choice. But what I am going to do is tell you my story, what I discovered, what I did, and why at 63 years old after retirement, I made a very specific choice about my money. And it might matter for you too. So stick with me because this changes how you think about everything you've saved. I worked for 40 years. I was disciplined about it. I saved money. I did what I was supposed to do. My advisor told me something. He said, Jack, save your money, put it in the bank, put it in your retirement account. It'll be safe. You'll be fine. And I believed him. Why wouldn't I? This was a professional. This was someone I was paying. But here's what I didn't realize. In 1980, a dollar was worth a dollar. That seems obvious, right? But it's not. Because that same dollar today, it's worth about 15 cents. 15 cents, I'm not making that up. That's historical fact. You can look it up. So if you saved $1 million in the bank in 1980, today, with inflation, that $1 million has the purchasing power of about $150,000. You lost 85% of your value without doing anything wrong, without making a bad investment, just by sitting there. Now multiply that by your life. Multiply that by the money you've saved. I had about $400,000 saved for retirement. I thought I was good. I thought I had enough. But when I really looked at inflation, when I really understood what was happening, I realized something terrifying. My $400,000, in real value, it might only be worth $60,000 in 20 years. That's the problem. That's the thing nobody wants to talk about. The system is designed to slowly steal your purchasing power, not through taxes, not through anything obvious, but through inflation. And banks don't care. The government doesn't care because they benefit from it. When the government prints more money, they benefit first, before inflation hits regular people. So by the time you feel it, they've already made their move. I watched this happen. I watched my savings slowly get eaten away, and I asked myself a hard question. What are people doing about this? What's the solution? That's when I started researching, and I found something interesting. Throughout history, whenever a currency loses value, there's one thing that holds value. One thing that has always held value. Precious metals, gold, silver. Not because they're fancy, not because they're special, but because they're tangible. You can hold them. You can't print more of them. They have intrinsic value. Value that can't be inflated away. I started looking into this, really looking into it. And the more I researched, the more I realized this isn't crazy. This isn't fringe. This is actually what wealthy people have been doing for centuries. They don't keep all their money in currency. They keep it in things that hold value, gold, silver. Real estate things that can't be inflated away. That's when I made a decision. I said to myself, I'm not going to sit around. I'm not going to watch my retirement get eaten away. I'm going to do something about it. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not a financial expert. I'm not a gold bug. I don't think precious metals are the answer to everything, but I do think they're part of the answer, part of a strategy. Here's what I learned. When I started researching, gold has held value for thousands of years. Thousands. When empires have collapsed, when currencies have become worthless, gold has always been valuable. Silver is similar. It's more volatile than gold. It fluctuates more, but it's also more affordable. You can actually own physical silver without spending your entire retirement. And that was important to me. I didn't have unlimited money, but I had some money, and I wanted to use some of that money to protect against inflation. So here's what I did. I took about 10% of my retirement savings. That was significant, but not reckless. And I bought physical gold and silver, not paper gold, not ETFs, physical metal that I could actually hold. Now, why physical? Why not just buy gold stocks? Why not buy funds? Because when things get really bad, paper becomes worthless. But gold? Gold, you can hold. That's real. That's always been valuable. I spent about $40,000, mostly silver. Some gold. I bought from reputable dealers. I did my research. And then I stored it safely, in a home safe. Some in a safety deposit box. Now here's the thing. I didn't buy it expecting to get rich. I bought it as insurance, as protection, against my savings being eaten away by inflation. Think of it like health insurance. You don't buy health insurance expecting to use it. You buy it because if something bad happens, you're protected. That's how I think about precious metals. The math is simple. If inflation continues at historical rates, the purchasing power of the dollar continues to decline. That means I need something that holds value. Gold and silver do that. Over the past year, I watched my savings in the bank lose value to inflation. But I watched my precious metals hold steady, in some cases, gain value. And that peace of mind, that's worth something. Now I know what people say. Jack, don't precious metals lose value too? Sometimes they fluctuate. The price goes up and down. But historically, over long periods, they hold value, and that's what matters. When you're retired, I'm not trying to get rich, I'm trying to not get poor. I'm not trying to time the market. I'm trying to protect what I've already earned. And after 40 years of work, after finally having the right to rest, that feels like the smart play. Here's what I want you to understand. This is not about getting rich. This is not about beating the market. This is not about finding some secret investment. This is about protecting what you've already earned after a lifetime of work. I spent 40 years building my retirement, sacrificing, being disciplined, making the right choices. And the last thing I wanted was to watch it slowly disappear because of inflation. And that's what was happening, slowly, invisibly, but happening. When you're 60, 65, 70, you don't have time to make more money. You don't have time to wait for a recovery. Your time is limited. Your money has to last. So the strategy changes. It's not about growth. It's about preservation. And precious metals are part of a preservation strategy. Now, I'm not saying put all your money in gold and silver. That would be stupid. You need diversification. You need different types of assets, but having some precious metals as a hedge against inflation, that's smart. It's what wealthy people do. It's what's been done for centuries. I started talking about this with my friends. Some of them, they thought I was crazy. Jack, that's for conspiracy theorists, they said. But then I showed them the math. I showed them the historical data. I showed them how many wealthy people own precious metals. And some of them, they started doing the same thing, buying some physical gold and silver. Not all their money, but some. Because once you understand the problem, you can't unsee it. And once you can't unsee it, you have to do something about it. The deeper truth is this. The system is designed to benefit those who understand it, those who know about alternatives to currency, those who protect their wealth proactively. Most people just sit around and they hope the government takes care of them. They hope their savings are enough. They hope everything works out. But you don't have to be most people. You can be intentional. You can research. You can make informed decisions. You can protect what you've earned. And at 63, after 40 years of work, that's not paranoid. That's smart. I'm not saying buy gold and silver. I'm saying educate yourself. Understand your options. Make your own decision based on your own research and your own situation, but don't sit around passively. Don't watch your retirement get eaten away by inflation. Do something, anything, but do something because your life's work, it matters and it deserves to be protected. Listen, I'm going to be direct with you. If you're watching this right now, you're either going to keep doing what you've been doing or you're going to actually take action. And I get it. Change is scary. It's easier to trust the system. It's easier to believe your money is safe in the bank. It's easier to just hope everything works out, but that's not you. If you're watching this at 60, at 65, at 70, you're someone who worked hard, you earned this, and you deserve to protect it. So here's what I need you to do right now. Like this video, because it signals that people care about real financial education, about understanding threats, about protecting retirement. Every like tells YouTube this matters. Subscribe to the channel because this is just the beginning. New content every week about protecting your money, about understanding inflation, about strategies that actually work. Don't miss the next one. Share this with someone you know, your spouse, your brother, your friend who's worried about retirement because there's someone in your life right now who's stressed about money, who's watching their savings disappear, and you might be the person who gives them tools to protect themselves. Comment down below. Have you thought about precious metals? Are you concerned about inflation? What's holding you back? I read every comment. I respond to as many as I can. Your story matters. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I'm sharing my story, my research, my strategy. Your situation is different. Do your own research. Talk to professionals, make your own decisions, but don't sit around doing nothing. Don't watch your retirement slowly disappear. Do something, educate yourself, take action, because you've earned this. You deserve security. I'm Jack, and I'm here to help you think smarter about your money. I'll see you in the next one.